At some juncture in our lives, someone gave us something seemingly insignificant, but it meant a lot to them. Maybe it was your kid who handed you a rock, but proclaimed that it was something magical. Perhaps your mom, who knit you a hat that looks like a pancake, but she just knows that you're gonna knock them dead with your newfound fashion sense. That small gesture or gift meant a lot to the sender. The catalyst is how it's received by the receiver. Could your perception of that object's value be the catalyst for the purpose in your life? I believe so. For me, it was a single sheet of paper given to me by my grandfather, Charlie FERRELL Jr. My grandfather was a Korean Vietnam War Air Force veteran. He was an aircraft mechanic. And from his stories and the stories of family members' accounts of his time in service, he was a damn good one. He was married with 5 kids. The oldest daughter was my mother, Marcia. Now, he didn't just raise the FERRELL 5, as they were called. He also helped raise his grandkids, including me. A lot of my childhood was spent living with my grandparents, my mother, my aunt, and her 2 boys in a 2-bedroom country home in Cookeville, Tennessee. I called him Daddy. He called me Tutti Frutti. Little did I know my life with him was going to be like a decade-long episode of Shark Tank. Daddy, can I have an allowance? Tutti Frutti, how are your grades? They're good, I think. Tell you what, I'll give you $4 for an A. I'll give you $3 for a B. Well, what do I get for a C? Insert the look and silence. Okay, Daddy. This went on year after year. And call it my youth or emotional maturity at the time, but all I could think of is, how unfair is this? The boys get whatever they want when they ask. I, however, am enrolled in this performance-based reward system. Over time, we learned that my grandfather had developed lung cancer. And if anyone in the room has had a family member go through that, you know that feeling, that pain that I'm talking about. It's helplessness and the waiting. I didn't even think that he was going to live to even see me graduate from college, because at that point, the cancer had spread all over his body. But he did. He was the first person to salute me when I raised my hand at Clemson University at my commissioning ceremony. I was the 4th-generation service member and the first officer in my family. The silver dollar salute is what it's called. Now, if this is all that he gave me, that moment where he stood tall, the result of over 20 years of service in 2 wars, and rendered a salute that put all other salutes to shame, I would have considered myself truly blessed. This is the most precious memory in my life, and he passed away less than a year later. Great purpose is often given to the seemingly most unqualified individual. 8 years later, I was active duty, stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. My grandfather had made this sauce that had been a main staple in my family since 1956. Since he passed away, no one had ever had it because no one knew how to make it. And it dawned on me that this thing might be gone forever. So I called my mother to lament about it. "I've been meaning to tell you something," she said. Your grandfather asked me to give you something before he passed away. When I saw her again, she handed it to me. An envelope containing a single sheet of paper. I gasped when I realized what it was. Yes, this is the only written copy. He kept it in his wallet. All of his children were still alive. I am the third grandkid. I am not a chef. And in a family of really, really great cooks, I'm the worst one. Impulsively, I asked my mother, what did he tell me that I had to do to get this recipe? Nothing, she said. He just gave it to you. No expectations of performance. Now, at that moment, I completely broke down because I couldn't believe that he just gave it to me. I mean, who am I? I cried and I drank Jack Daniels and I racked my brain with, why me? Well, I want to tell you something. I may be a Clemson grad, aerospace science, but I don't know anything about the food industry. Call it cliche, but I dreamt that I walked into a little country store that sat at the top of our hill, and he asked me to fetch stuff for him, groceries, cigars. And in the dream, I walked into the store and there was nothing in it. Every single shelf had bottles of sauce, only, on every shelf, with his face on it. So I woke up, I opened my laptop, and I searched the internet for free mentorship. I would describe my grandfather's leadership style as servant leadership, helping his country, helping his family, helping others. And it was with this thought that I knew that it wasn't meant for me. It wasn't meant just for me. So I walked into a local nonprofit for entrepreneurs, and I told them that I wanted to make this sauce for my friends and family. They encouraged me to start a business, because you never know where the path may lead, but you want to start with a good foundation. My first appointment, I met my mentor, John SOUTAR. John SOUTAR was maybe a couple years younger than my grandfather if he were still alive. He smiled and he told me that the checklist that I needed to follow was how to make and sell a tomato-based product. Just do step 1. File for your business license, and then we'll move at the speed of determination. How fast is that? However determined you are to make this happen. 4 months later, we had our first production day. An Amish company in Chillicothe, Ohio, hand-poured 700 bottles. We sold them all in a week. I'm still active duty, by the way. Our company has scaled up production 3 times. I thought that my purpose was service to this nation. Retire in 20, put on my veteran hat, and count the win for my family. But now this opportunity has come into my life, self-inflicted, but nevertheless, this is a raging fire that I can't put out. I would work all night after duty and on weekends, compelled by this invisible force, this determination to turn a piece of paper into a family legacy. This is also a journey of self-discovery. Each triumph and failure is lending itself to my self-actualization. 2017, we won Bob Evans Farms Veteran-Owned Business of the Year. We received funding and mentorship. Now, how funny is it that my journey also included me going to Hollywood in 2014 and getting epically rejected by Shark Tank? Mainly because I was still on an active military contract. Bob Evans told us that part of our prize was free mentorship from Damon John, Shark Tank investor and CEO of FUBU. I mean, yeah, it's so amazing, it's comical. All of this from embracing my purpose, which has been redirected due to my chosen perception of a single sheet of paper. Innovation giving birth to your purpose. My current mission is to bring American families together one bottle of sauce at a time. What is that in your life? What is that object of seemingly small value that could actually be the means for you achieving your ultimate life purpose, or changing lives, or changing the world? What is that recipe? Thank you.